G'day, we're the Australian Youth Orchestra. We've just got off the bus from the airport. We've flown in from Copenhagen this morning. Pretty excited to be in London. We're playing at the Proms, which is a very big experience for all of us. I'm pretty sure none of us have played at the Proms before.
I met up with conductor Mark Elder after rehearsals this morning. So Mark, you've just been touring around China, around Europe, and I think you just got back to the UK yesterday. What's it like to be back?
Well, it's exciting with this experience behind us. 2 weeks of rehearsals in Sydney, incredible audiences in China, some of them very unexpected, some of them huge like football crowds. And to be back in Europe, of course, is very exciting for this young orchestra. Most of them have never been here in their lives.
How's the jet lag going, conducting over various time zones?
Well, I suffer from jet lag pretty badly, so I shall have a good sleep tonight and a good sleep this afternoon.
So how did you first come to work with this orchestra?
Well, it was a very long time ago that I first met this orchestra. In fact, my career as a conductor started in the early 70s in Australia, and after I'd been there for a few years, I came back to Europe and continued to go out to Australia to work with the different orchestras. And it was, I think, about 25 years ago that the youth orchestra asked me whether or not I'd come and meet them and work with them at the Adelaide Festival. And we did 2 weeks, I remember. The first week was an American program, very extraordinary music, very difficult for them, unknown. And then the next week, it was Berlioz's Damnation of Faust. And the composer of tonight's first item was playing the principal viola at
Brett
that time.
Dean was in the orchestra.
Brett Dean was in the orchestra. One earring, lots of hair. And he was a great musician then, and he certainly is now.
Well, I was watching really closely in rehearsals. There's obviously a fantastic warmth and chemistry between you and these players. What do you get from working with them?
Well, it reminds me why we all became musicians in the first place. Here are these 80 or so young players having spent all their teens practicing their instruments, and they're now masters of them. And they're ready for the profession. Most of them I'd give a job in the Halley to the drop of a hat. I mean, they're in really great shape.
You don't make any allowances for the fact that they're kids, do you? You're
No.
very tough on them.
Yeah, because I think that that's what they're hoping I'll do, that I will take them to another level. Because, of course, it's one thing to play a string quartet, it's one thing to practice your instrument in your bedroom quietly, but to be a symphony orchestra, that takes time and discipline and experience.
Now, I understand that none of these players has ever been to the Royal Albert Hall. What can they expect from their very first time here?
Well, it's a very special atmosphere here, isn't it? And they've heard about it, and we've warned them, but many of them have heard from other sources what an extraordinary event a concert here is. And I think that there's a great excitement and a great sense of this being the most important concert of the tour. And I think they're fascinated to see how this huge space is going to come alive tonight with the people here, and how they've got to be themselves and not hide under nerves and just express themselves and show everybody why they want to be musicians. Because, you know, about 95% of the orchestra have already decided that they really will be professional musicians.
Percy Grainger's Irish tune from County Derry, the Australian Youth Orchestra, conducted by Mark Elder. And that is the end of tonight's prom. I do hope you will be back with us tomorrow for a little night music, our first ever all-Sondheim prom. Don't miss it either on Radio 3 or on BBC 2. But for now, from all of us at the Royal Albert Hall, it's good night.